We have two questions and two answers to each question. The first question is, how will we decide what will be produced and consumed? And the two answers we get are a free market system and a planned economy. We also have the question, who will own the means of production? And the answers we've looked at are private individuals or the community as a whole. Well, if we put our answers to these questions together, we get four possibilities. Okay. First possibility. The decisions are made by private individuals, and individuals can own the means of production. So this is free market capitalism. Now, the second possibility would be that we have a high amount of local control. Okay? So the managers of various institutions decide what will be produced and what will be consumed, at least when we're dealing with production, right? Materials for production. Maybe with individuals in their homes, it's a little different. Now, that would be what, more or less, that would be what's called market socialism, okay? Where you have the components of a free market without private ownership of the means of production. So profits would be taken by the community and reinvested or spent in ways that are considered best for everyone as a whole. So that would be market socialism. You could also imagine a planned economy, right? A socialist planned economy. Right? Some people would just, to make things easy, we'll call this communism. Okay? A system in which everything is owned by the community as a whole, and decisions are made in a centralized way. Okay, so you have some kind of centralized planning bureau that decides what will be produced and what will be consumed, and says, okay, these factories will produce this, these factories will produce that, these factories can use this raw material, these factories can use that raw material, these mines will produce them, these farmers will give food to these places, and it will be delivered to various places so that individuals can use them. Okay? So everyone gets their quotas of what they're allowed to consume and expected to produce. Right? And everything is ultimately owned by the community as a whole. That would be, we'll call it communism. The fourth possibility is one that I don't hear as much, and that would be to have private ownership of the means of production with centralized planning. One of my students once said that's basically fascism. Okay, I'm not sure that's an accurate picture of fascism, right? But that would be theoretically the fourth possibility out there. So we've got these four possibilities, and the reason I stress these is to point out that the question of whether or not we'll have a free market and the question of whether or not we'll have capitalism, right, are two distinct questions. Now, the answers may go together, right? Two or more of these possibilities might be impossible. Right? So it might turn out, in particular, that in practice, you really can't have a functioning free market without capitalism. So market socialism may turn out to be an impossibility. Right? But that takes some argument. Right? It takes some argument to show that the free market requires capitalism. Why? Because conceptually, they're two different things. Right? When you describe a system as free market and you describe it as capitalism, you're describing two different features of the system. Right? Now, they might be features that can't work or can't work well without each other, but they are two different things.